Okay, everybody. My name's Justin. This is AI for the Masses, and I will be continuing my stream to... Hold on, I got an echo here. Let's fix this, or else I'm gonna be pausing on every sentence. Okay, I think that's better. Yeah, so let me start over. So my name's Justin, AI for the Masses, and now you can see I can talk a lot faster because I don't have that echo in my ears messing up my brain. And I'll be doing some vibe coding here for game development for a game that I am working on called The Story of Someone. And during my last stream, I was struggling in one particular aspect of the coding that I couldn't get my NPCs in my town to all go to bed. And I hypothesized that it is a pathfinding problem. So at the end of my last stream, I was somewhat confident as to what it is that might be the problem or how I could expose the problem, and I was just getting tired. So I haven't worked on it since the last stream, and we'll get to see me kind of struggle with that process. I think for this stream, I'm just going to start a fresh chat with Gemini and give it all my code. I didn't commit at the end of the last stream any of the code I was working on. For those of you who have never seen what my game is like, it's very much in the beginning stages. It's not a lot of art assets, but if you go into a town, I do have a lot of placeholder art that I created that kind of gives a sense of what each of these buildings might be for. And so up here at the top is an inn, and residences have one bedroom and a fireplace. And there's a town, and shops have a countertop. I just realized maybe one of my issues is that my large shop doesn't have a way for the NPC to get to behind the counter. I wonder if that is also causing an unexpected bug. But the idea is that I will be able to start a nighttime cycle for my NPCs, and they will go to bed. So here's where I'm at so far. I just turned on the nighttime mode. So some NPCs get frozen in place. Like this guy over here, for some reason, is stuck. Oops. And that is my shopkeeper for the armor shop. Others, like the one in the building I'm standing next to, he's gonna make it to bed. And so as we watch, he'll walk over the bed and poop, turn into a little guy who's laying on this huge bed. Okay, but why are the other characters not making it? So if I go back to day mode and look over on the left, that guy's gonna go to bed too. Actually, I wonder, you can see him. So if I go to day mode, then they come off the bed and they just turn into the pink squares again. Sometimes when I toggle between day mode and night mode, some of the stuck NPCs will actually find somewhere to go. But that is not always the case. And in some cases, it could be because that NPC is literally homeless. But I don't see how that could be possible because I see two full beds that have empty spots. So there are enough beds for every NPC. Something is just not working. And I want to see if every NPC ends up with a path. And I also want to know the status of whether or not they have that path. So I was trying to add some of that debug feature last time. And here we go. So, okay, that's just a dialogue thing. Real quick. I'm going to change something on my setup. Bear with me for a second here. Okay. So I'm not going to be able to... I'm sure you guys don't care about the details of this, but... yeah, fine. Okay, so I want... So I have music playing in the background, as you probably have noticed. And I want to try and make sure that it's not too loud. So if you happen to be watching this stream, and you can maybe give me some feedback in the comments as to whether or not my music is getting in the way or just making it difficult to understand me. I know one thing I want to do is I want the music to be less intense. So I already know that this song that is playing right now is not really the kind of song I want to have. Let's see if I can filter out some of these more intense songs. So a lot of these songs are songs that I hope to put in the game. Whether or not I use these exact songs or I hire someone to upgrade them in some way, time will tell. But I'm already trying to think about what kind of a vibe and mood I want different parts of the game to be, and I've already used AI to make a bunch of sample songs, placeholder music. I do have to say that the quality of the music a lot of times is a little bit questionable. And I don't mean like the musicality of it, I mean like the sound quality. So I'm unsure if much of this music is going to make it. All right. Anyway, what I want to do is I was looking at the terminal output here and trying to see if like I can get any status. And say, so time change evening, attempting to get dialogue. No, I don't really care about the dialogue. So that's dialogue service, town content, intergeneric town, time, day, active NPC 6. Okay, so yeah, I want to, so I'm going to consolidate my code base here, and I'm going to feed it to Gemini. And the idea, let me just make sure while that's going that, yeah, that sounds good. Okay, let me make sure that we can set up all the code. So I'm going to give the AI my instructions. The AI yesterday was acting a little strange and kind of outputting in a weird way. And we'll see if today, if it's behaving that way. Do we have a new model or anything? I'm not seeing a date on this model. Oh, have they taken away like the ability to check out different versions of 2.5 Pro? Interesting. I kind of liked it when they had like the different dates on the model updates, and now that feature seems to be gone, or that information seems to be gone as well. Okay. Not a fan of the fact that they changed that. I really liked that I could see which version of the model I was using. So for all I know, they updated the model on me last night, and I just was unaware. Alright, so I'm going to describe my issue to the AI. And that is hopefully going to allow me to tell it also what kind of information I would like to get about the NPCs, their pathfinding, and the various behaviors that I'm getting. Like some are getting stuck, some are not. So actually, yeah. So I'm gonna describe the problem first. I'm having problems with the NPCs and their pathfinding to... What happened to the music? Got a new quiet song? Yeah. I think this song's just really quiet. It's fine. They're pathfinding to their respective beds. Some NPCs just stop and don't move during the night cycle. I would like to see some like status updates in the terminal. One update would be, I know I asked it to do this before. I don't know why it's not in the code. Maybe I accidentally didn't save or something one of my files, but I don't see how that would be possible. So I'm kind of repeating myself here. This is a strange problem that I'm having. So I'd like to see some status updates there. One update would be whether a path was successfully established for the NPC to the bed. I would also like to see the path to the bed that has been created, perhaps as a red line through the map. Now, I asked it to do this before and I didn't see a red line, so it's a possibility. So usually I find that the AI is pretty good at following your instructions, as far as like I bet you there is a line somewhere in there, but I bet it's like underneath. So I need to specifically tell it to make sure it's on the top layer. For the path finding line, make sure it is on the top layer. Produce it last in the sequence to make sure I can see it when rendered. Okay, I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that this is enough information and guidance for the AI to give me some info. I'm really kind of groping in the dark here with what the problem actually is. So I've got to give myself more information. And the AI can't see the game playing and also can't see my terminal output. So this is one of the trade-offs of having the AI be air-gapped, as I like to call it, from my IDE, is that I have to feed it all the information that I needed to see. But I like having control over that. And I don't mind having to be selective on what I let the AI see in my code and things, especially when I compartmentalize a lot of the generations of like the buildings and characters and things in my game. I have like segregated sandboxes, so that way me and the AI can be much more focused on that particular task by not seeing the rest of the game, and I just kind of guide the AI down the road that I want it to go as far as how to design things and stuff. And sometimes I'll feed it small chunks of my main game code, so it has some context as to what I'm looking for. All right, so let's see how it responded in the description here. So, of course, debugging pathfinding can be tricky, and adding logging and visualization excellent ways. Okay, so it's going to, the current path field will be converted to a public property. Current paths can be accessed for rendering. Okay, that's new. So it apparently didn't do that before. Nothing updated except a descriptive string for logging purposes. Nothing updated to log whether a path is successful or not. Okay, so we're doing npcs.cs first. Looks like it's giving me the whole file, and this is a relatively big file. about medium size. I try not to let my files get above like 300 or 400 lines. Some of my files, I definitely don't succeed in keeping it under that bar. But if the file is not touched very often, then I won't refactor those files. But oh boy, is this going to be like significantly bigger? I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. So I've got 200 lines. Is this? I don't know why that happens sometimes. Am I still in npcs.cs? No, there's no way. This is not. So I must have not been looking while I was scrolling. So where? Because it said it was going to alter 2 files. Let's see here. Really? No way. Okay, yeah, this is town context. Okay, so this is NPCs. So since I'm here, okay, add a few more lines, and then town context. And I can just click the down arrow. Okay. See, this is 609 lines, and it's getting about time for me to... Oh, yeah, still 630. It's getting about time for me to refactor town context in some way. And that probably would actually help with some of this debugging. I find that the bigger the files, the individual files themselves, sometimes Gemini kind of starts to like struggle to do updates and edits. But if you compartmentalize the files a little bit smaller into their individual ideas, hey, look at that. That is what I'm talking about. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, this is making me really happy. And look at that. So over here on the left, okay, so we got 2 NPCs. One works in the tavern, and another one is probably just coming to hang out for a bit. And then the pathfinding is updating. Okay, look. Oh man. Okay, if this doesn't expose the problem, then I'm gonna be at a serious loss. But regardless, I like this. This is really satisfying to me. Okay, so here the innkeeper is going down here. All right, I'm gonna go to night mode and see how the pathfinding changes. Okay, so for some reason, this guy isn't being given a path. But at least now I can see that. And this guy, okay, why is there seem to be like a dead end? All right, I don't understand what this line is. This is interesting. This could be a symptom of what it is that I am dealing with. Okay, you know what I think I want to do? I want the program to erase the path after an NPC has made it to the bed, so I can leave only lines. Oh, I bet you I know what it is. I bet you this is where he started. This is where they were. Okay, that's silly of me. Okay, well, you know, I don't have to. I can just reset. Well, Alright. Oh, okay. Yeah, these guys just don't have lines at all. Why? Why is the big question. Okay, so at least I know they don't have a path at all. Alright. So I've got to figure out why there's no path. Oh, here we go. Path not found. Looks like it continues to try. Okay, I went from evening, went from day. Path found, path found. Okay, one path not found. Only one path was not found? Interesting. And this is... So it's trying over and over and over to get NPC 6 and NPC 2 to find a bed. Okay, this is really going to be a tricky one to figure out why. It's kind of like I'm confirming something I already knew, but it didn't expose more information as to the cause. Gotta think. What could I do to help expose the reason. I mean, I personally, I don't know how important it is for me to solve this problem at this phase of the game development. I think this is more of a curiosity thing for me than anything else. Oh, wait a second. Hey, Aaron. No. Oh, really? It's sounding all echoey today? Huh, wonder what I've changed. You know, the thing that I possibly changed is that I tried doing the monitor. Well, that's weird. Like, I don't think I changed anything in my environment. So, this is curious. And I do have the music playing. Bit robotic sounding. Interesting. Can you hear the background music? And how's the volume on that? I thought I'd try and add a little bit of an environment, like an ambiance, to the stream. And these are songs that I plan on having in my game, at least in the first version of the game, until I can like afford to hire a composer. Anyway, well, that's a bummer. This bummer it's robotic. I can't think of any reason why it would be different. I'm gonna. Okay, it's a good volume. That's good. I'm gonna change. Sorry if this is noisy, me messing with the microphone there. Okay. Yeah, to me, on like my end, on the monitor end, it sounds the same to me. So this must be a encoder problem. I'll try to investigate it. But if you say that it's clear, then I'll just work with the stream as it is right now. So, answering your question, have I found the bug? And thanks for asking. Sorry. As anything, I did watch the beginning of your stream after you had already posted. I missed your stream. I was just busy, and it was a bummer. And I realized that you call yourself As Anything. So there, I'll try to call you what you intend. And I saw you were struggling to find your village in Minecraft there at the beginning. Apparently you died. So yeah, I have not found the bug. I just got started, and let's see. I'm going to run another instance of the game. So what I have done. Okay, yeah, letting people play their own music. Yeah, I could see that. I don't know. I've watched other people's streams, and they'll have some background music playing and things like that. And I think as long as you pick okay songs, it can be nice. But I do see your point. Like someone might want to just listen to you talk and play their own music. So if anything, that's polite of you for sure. We'll see. Maybe I'll bounce back and forth, because your little philosophy there actually makes a lot of sense. All right. So this is day mode, and I did succeed at getting the game to display the paths that are created for the NPCs as they wander around. Now here's one problem: is one of my characters over here on the left is just not getting a path. Let's go to night mode and see if they get a path. But now they do get a path to a bed if they are in night mode. So this is really puzzling. It's almost... I mean, it's not random. I'm not going to try and throw out some sort of, like, this problem's just happening randomly. No, it's happening for a reason, but I can't seem to put my finger on the consistency of it. So You know what I'm gonna have to do? I need to be able to see the terminal at the same time. So let's go back to, I think it was game.cs. I think that's where I can control the window size. Nope, it's not. Game config. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to reduce the width. Let's reduce it. I don't think I have to reduce it like too terribly much. Let's go 1,000 pixels smaller. And then I can move the window over to see the terminal. Oh, that's too big. I can't grab the top. And apparently I don't know the height of my own. Oh, no, I think it was perfectly sized where the inside graphics of the window are exactly the same size as my screen, and therefore I couldn't grab the top. Oh, I forgot to save. Okay, so the idea is I want to expose some more information, and okay, that's still not small enough. Oh, let's keep going. Apparently I think my computer screen is bigger than it actually is. Alright, I can finally grab this. Let's see what happens here. So we have how many NPCs? 5. And then it says path found to work. Path found to work, path found to work, path found to random, wander to. Okay. So all 5 NPCs are working in this run. I'm going to go to night mode. And everybody found a path to a bed. So this is a rare situation where everything is actually working. Alright? Not helpful. Let's try again. Okay, so path not found. Alright, so this might be somewhat helpful in that I can take this terminal output and maybe take a snapshot of the screen. Let me get over here where the NPCs are. Oops, what? How did I? But I don't think I should have left the town like that. Okay, the town boundary is probably really close to the left side of the last building, so I gotta be careful here. Okay, so we got, looks like NPC 0. NPC 0 is the only one that's stuck. Was that the case earlier? We had 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so 0 is the only one that's stuck. I'm gonna go to nighttime, but now NPC 0 is fine and found a bed, but NPC 4 did not find a bed. Yes, this is going to be tricky, figuring out why. Okay, well, let's get started with trying to investigate. So I'm just going to give this information to the AI as it is, just to make it aware. Another thing I might be able to do is ask it to, do we see the coordinates that the NPC is sitting at? Yes, we do. Well, found a path to work at a particular coordinate. I would also like to display in the terminal which coordinate the NPC is currently at. I don't see a pattern. Alright, let's just give it what I got. Okay. Not every NPC is getting a path. Here is the terminal output. Can we brainstorm as to why some NPCs fail with their path finding based on how we are approaching the task and the architecture of the town map. I'll try and lead it into a particular like frame of thinking here and see if it's like I want to just brainstorm. I don't want it to write code. It'll probably try to write code if it comes up with a hypothesis that it's, I guess, confident would be a good idea. So let's see what happens. Alright, got an output yet? Nope. I also might employ ChatGPT, the O3 model, to investigate this a little bit. And I think pathfinding, NPCs, maybe town context, I can probably be selective with some of the files. I don't think I have to give ChatGPT my entire code base. The context window I don't think is big enough for that anyway. Let's see here. Okay, so let's brainstorm the potential causes based on the current architecture. Why pathfinding fails. An NPC's journey to its bed involves 3 main stages, each with potential points of failure. Starting point, the NPC is somewhere in the town. Outdoor path. The NPC must navigate from its current location to the door of its assigned residence. To the door, I guess so. Okay, indoor path. Once at the door, the NPC must navigate from the door to the specific bed tile inside. Huh, why? Oh, that is interesting. Okay. Why would you need to navigate to the door? That doesn't make any sense. The door is just a walkable tile. Because I used to not have insides to my buildings. I used to only have a building, and I told it in the past to have the NPC just walk up to the door. And I wonder if there's a conflict there. Okay, let's see what else it talks about. The current town layout generator connect doors method is very simplistic. Connects building doormats sequentially. Yeah, using simple L-shaped paths. It only carves a path if the tile is empty. Imagine 3 buildings, A, B, and C are placed. The generator might first connect A to B, creating a path. Then it tries to connect B to C. If building A happens to be located directly on the L-shaped route between B and C, the path carving logic will hit building A's wall and stop. Interesting, because the tile wall is not empty. This leaves building C completely isolated from the AB network. Okay, I don't fully understand what's going on here, but I have a very strong gut feeling that this is the underlying problem. Any NPC trying to path between C and the rest of the town will fail. This is amazing that the AI is even capable of doing this. Okay, hypothesis 2, plausible. Okay, it's even giving a likelihood rating to each of these. Interior obstructions. Places furniture like tables, counters, and fireplaces, the objects are correctly marked as non-walkable. Oh, yeah, so as you're saying, it might be managing the indoor and outdoor maps separately. It might be best if it was one single map. I mean, definitely your last part of that statement, best as one single map, is my ultimate goal. I think that's going to be the most fun version of the game and the easiest to handle an entire world with. But the NPCs, I do know, they pause when I go to the outdoor map when I'm outside of the town. And I've never had the NPCs interact with the outdoor map ever in the code. So, but what I have had is a town with buildings that had no insides, and I was doing pathfinding logic in that state. And now that I have insides to the buildings, I think the old pathfinding is conflicting. So I think you're gonna have to do like an overhaul on the pathfinding, and I may have to go in and like really look at all the different functions, and we may have to trim the fat a little bit in here. Like get neighbors, is tile occupied by building solid. Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting little thing. So pathfinding and the NPCs code. Get random pause during a greeting, go idle, force reevaluation, update, pathfind to current target. Is there anything about the door in here? See, like the messages are not suggesting doors. Set new target. Target building, target coordinates. Okay, let's see. You got other NPCs layout. Okay. No. Yeah, so I'm going to definitely ask it, because I agree that the most likely hypothesis is disconnected buildings. I want to understand hypothesis 1 a little bit more deeply. But it might already be presenting a solution here. NPC traffic jams. I don't think the NPC traffic jams are going to be a problem. Pathfinder correctly treats other NPCs as temporary obstacles. Oh, yeah, that's true. I do try to make it where the NPCs don't just walk on top of each other. If 2 or more NPCs try to enter the same narrow, one-tile-wide path from opposite directions, they can create a deadlock. I haven't seen... I think I know what it's talking about there, and I haven't seen that happen. And the failed pathfinding is happening before there's any sort of a physical interaction between 2 NPCs trying to occupy the same space. So I don't think hypothesis 3 is my immediate problem. I'm really leaning on hypothesis 1, and so does the AI. So, most critical architecture flaw and most probable cause of the failure seen, the outdoor path generation is not robust enough to guarantee that all buildings are connected. Which, maybe that's what you mean by the indoor and outdoor maps. If you mean the indoor as being the insides of the buildings, then yeah, I think we're on the same page. To fix this, we must replace the naive L-shaped path drawing with more intelligent connection method that uses the same pathfinding logic as the NPCs. This will ensure that a valid walkable path is carved between buildings even has to navigate around other structures. Okay, so I'm definitely going to trust its thing. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to pause for 1 second here. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So let's see. Yeah. Thanks, Az. Thanks for stopping in. I don't know how long this stream will be. It might be kind of quick. I think I'm gonna just try and solve this problem and then go do some things for a while. But I'll probably be back on a stream later tonight if I think of something interesting to work on. So thanks for stopping in. I really appreciate it every time you do that. All right, let's see what happens with this particular town layout generator. Interesting. So that's another file that seems to be affected by this pathfinding issue. Okay. Oh, the connect doors. So I think that's what it's talking about. Like the paths that connect the doors to each other might be creating a problem. Well, you know what? I'm trusting its hypothesis here. Let's see what happens. It'd be wonderful if it... I would not have figured this particular idea out on my own for sure. But... let's get in. Okay, so first, let's move this over. And path not found for NPC 3. So far already, this fix did not do its job. It does seem to be continuing to try. This is interesting. Where is this location? Okay, so 78, 36, 78, 76, 38. I don't know where this is. It would be really nice to be able to figure it out. Wait, so is this is a tile coordinate. Where is that? You know what I'm going to do? Every single time an NPC fails to find a path, I'm going to highlight that tile. And hopefully I can go find... yeah, that's going to be it. Okay. This fix did not quite work, but I have an idea. And I'm going to give it some of my terminal output. In the terminal output, I see the tile coordinate that the NPC is failing to get to. I have a difficult time knowing where that tile is on the map. Can we highlight on the top layer the tile that the NPC is trying to reach? Highlight the tile with a shade of red. Keep the tile highlighted until a new failed tile is discovered. To be clear, like, only highlight tiles that are from failed path finding attempts. All right. This should be cool. Hopefully, maybe it's something like it's trying to pathfind to a table or right into a wall, something like that. All right. While I'm waiting, let's go do the day-night cycle. I want to see. All right, so we have one guy, NPC 3, was not able to find a tile. Okay, but now I'm going to go to night cycle. And NPC 3 still did not find. Oh, but eventually did. Very interesting that it did fix itself. That's a good sign. But where's this guy going? So NPC 6 is just random wandering at night. Why? Okay, that's the next thing to figure out. Like, why is there an NPC that just randomly wanders? All right. Let's see what we get for a response down here. Of course, visualizing the exact point of failure is a great debugging technique. I'll highlight for the target tile of any failed pathfinding attempt. This highlight will persist until a new failure occurs. Okay. All right. Good. Sounds like what I was asking for. So let's go ahead and copy this code. Oops, slow down. And then town context. Yeah, town context. I need to refactor this. I think. Okay, I'm going to try to remember that. Yeah, 656. This is probably not helping with the whole debugging issue. So if I can get this code refactored, I might end up with a slightly better debugging output or outcome. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, did I save? Yeah, I did. All right. I want to see. Okay, we did get a path that's not found, and it's at 5127, so that feels a little bit up here. I had a feeling that was going to happen. Okay. 5122. Okay, there it is. Huh. Yeah, it's just trying to go behind the counter. Alright, what's the pattern here? Why does it struggle to pathfind? I wonder if it's always the tavern. I wonder if the tavern... I know what it is. It's the tables. Okay, so the tables actually have an extra... Can I even walk next to the tables? I can. But I bet you the pathfinding doesn't know. Is it the tables? I think it's got to be the tables. It's the tables. Okay, let's. So, for your guys' interest, here's why I'm coming to the conclusion the tables. All right, so here's why this time I think the tables are working. So the tables are more than actually just a 2x2. They're actually a 4x4. I create this like exclusion zone where I don't want tables butting up against each other, and I don't want a table right up against a bar stool or a wall. I want to be able to walk around them. So the game does understand, the code does understand that I want to be able to walk. Oh, yeah, good. Can't walk over NPCs. It's nice. That it does understand that I want to walk, but, well, no, look, the pathfinding is going right through that tile. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Okay, well, I'm not fully convinced that the pathfinding is treating the tables exact same way as the NPCs and me, the player. Well, here's a failed... No, see, look at that. Here's a failed tile sitting over here. Okay, no, I don't... It's not it, then. Okay, I'm going to go to night mode. Let's see if anybody else. Path not found at 5422. Where's that? Oh. Okay, I didn't make it to the double bed. This is a really strange bug. And I don't think it's because there's already a path from the other player. Because that isn't always a problem. And look, it's not a problem here. There's two paths going through the door for two players simultaneously. Not a problem. I'm gonna let everybody settle in. Well, let's see if I can... This is interesting. It's still failing. Okay, so interesting. Over here on the top right, not top right, but center right, if my NPC is on the box, then it temporarily fails. Like, no failure here because the NPC is not on the box. Hold on, let me readjust that. But as soon as one of the NPCs ends up in that box and I try to get them to go to sleep. Oh. Wow, this is so... Okay, there we go. Try again. Okay. Why is this one not fixing itself? Alright, I'm going to take a snapshot of this and show. So NPC 0 I wonder if I should number the NPCs. Where is this NPC who's failing to get to the bed? Where are you? There you are. Take a picture of that. And take a picture of this. I have an NPC. Actually, told myself I was going to refactor town context. One more time. All right. No. I have an NPC that is stuck at its job in the inn in one image and cannot get to the bed at their residence. I'm going to tell the things I'm pretty confident are not the case. I do not see any obstructions of non-walkable tiles preventing the path finding from reaching the destination tile. I did agree that the code may have a legacy feature for the path finding that is now obsolete and incompatible with the current method. For your information, the code used to not have insides for the buildings, and the night mode would have the NPCs go to the front doors only and not enter the building. Is it possible that there is some logic left over for that feature in the current code? And can we remove any reference of going to the door in the path finding algorithm, since the door is not important anymore? Okay, I'm going to do this. It was already hinting at the possibility that there was some legacy code causing weird logic with the doors. Let's see what happens if I kind of poke at that a little bit more explicitly. So he's still sitting in the inn, and then nothing. Just fails to get home. If I don't get the behavior I want, then I should really stick to my guns, and town context keeps getting updated. I need to refactor this so the game states. Maybe I could even reorganize building done. No, just town context. Maybe you can divide this up into some subcategories of files. Oh boy, it's thinking hard. Okay, good. Here we go. So you made an excellent observation. Come on, let me go back up to the top here. I want the top. There we go. Come on, you can do it. Come on, let me get back up there. Okay, there we go. The behavior describing is a classic symptom of legacy code causing issues in a newer, more complex system. Your intuition that the old go-to-the-door logic is the culprit is spot on. The Pathfinder itself is likely working correctly, but it's being given an invalid or unreachable target due to its obsolete logic. I'll remove the legacy door targeting fallbacks and clean up the obsolete method. Okay. Let's actually investigate here. So I'll remove the two obsolete methods. Is tile occupied by building solid? Is tile occupied by building for player? They are no longer used and could cause confusion. The core A-star logic remains unchanged as it's already correct. Okay, yeah, that could help. I will create a new helper method. Find random walkable tile in building and update find spawn point at counter. Instead of falling back to the building's door for an NPC's initial spawn point, it will now fall back to finding any walkable tile within that building, which is much more robust. Okay, probably kind of an adjacent fix to the actual problem here, but okay. I'll add a similar helper method here, and this is a town context, and update the update logic. When an NPC is at work and can't find a spot adjacent to the counter, it will no longer target the building's door. Instead, it will target a random walkable tile inside this workplace. Okay, all right. I'm not feeling like this is the problem, but sometimes the problems that you find in coding feel like they're unrelated, and they actually are very relevant, and it's sometimes very difficult to find. And that's why I don't get too upset if the AI is struggling to debug, because I do know what it's like to try and debug manually yourself, and it's like the hardest part of coding is debugging. So the fact that the AI is good at this at all is just mind-blowing. And I'm actually I'm an engineer, and I'm not actually a coder. I'm an engineer, an electrical engineer to be even more specific. And problem solving is something I really like doing, and it's kind of fun that I get to kind of problem solve at the more high level with all the AI coding. I can just sit, observe, look at the symptoms, and try to come up with an understanding of what's happening. This town context is just getting longer and longer. All right. Okay. All right. Who's not finding a path now? Two paths not found. Embassy 1 and 2. But number 2 found a path, and number 1 is still stuck. Okay, so still not quite solving the issue. Okay, but I'm going to go to night mode. Okay, night mode worked, but now NPC 3 and 5 are stuck. Okay, night mode, or day mode. Okay, looks like everybody found a path this time. Okay, night mode. Only 5 got stuck. Nope, 3 and 5 got stuck again. Okay, where are you trying to go? So 85, 25, and 80, 84, 86, 25. Okay, So it's over here. So they're just failing to get to these beds. Think. What would it be? I'm not seeing a consistent pattern. It could be related to these paths that are found. All right, so I'm gonna pivot for a second, and I am going to take town context and get it refactored. So town context is in game states. So town context.cs is getting pretty cumbersome. CUM. It's okay, I'll just do it this way. Cumbersome to work with and may be adding difficulty with finding the bug we are working on. Can we refactor this file into a few separate files? That's it. I'll just let it do its job. Okay. I think the other files that have been getting messed with are pathfinding, but it's really not that long of a file, so I'm not very concerned. And then the other one was like world generator orchestrator. This one's not too bad, although I do feel like it's kind of a mix of a bunch of different ideas. So I could possibly refactor this as well. Town layout generator, also not a very big file, so I'm not too concerned. Yeah, it's just the town context is, I think, the biggest culprit. Let's go back to looking at the behavior here. So if I go back to day mode. Okay, well that makes sense. I keep forgetting that, like, the pathfinding to the backside of the counter, I gotta fix that. I gotta put a door. Okay, so let's... I'm so glad I made this red box. I gotta make some notes here. So put a back door. Door to large shop. Okay, done. Yeah, because he can't get to his job. Yeah, every single time I have a large shop, I basically have an NPC that can't get to their work. Although, even though it's like, I think, but this is the guy. So, it's still, like, dealing with it. Path not found. Oh, I think it's going idle. Then it finally does find a path here, but because I said keep the red box highlighted until a new failed path is found, is kind of creating a misunderstanding. Okay, so I'll try to keep that in mind, that the failed path is technically not being used anymore, but I didn't tell it to erase the box, and I think I'm going to stick to that because I want to be able to see the behaviors. Okay, so we're refactoring into town renderer, town context. Wait, I mean, I don't mean spread it into existing files. Like, really? Okay. Oh, well, okay, new file, town renderer. I like that. I may have to render make that even deeper. But okay, graphics. Town renderer. Still pretty long. I'll go back up and double check the purposes that it gave for the different files. Okay, then, so update town context. It's probably going to be significantly smaller. Oh, I need to look at how big town renderer ended up being. I forgot to look at the line count. It's going to be at least half as big. Yeah, it's a little bit better. And then game.cs. Game.cs I don't think is very big. Okay, no, I was wrong. It's already pretty big. Not too excited to make this even longer. May have to refactor game.cs as well, but I really don't like that it's like juggling the code around to other existing files. I would actually prefer if it made just new files, but at least town renderer pulled about 300 lines out of the pool there, so that's a little bit better. All right. I doubt this fixed anything. I'll take a look at the behavior. Okay, so path not found. Oh, it's not even finding a path even when it's on the other side of the counter. Okay, I'm going to interrogate it a little bit more. I want to understand my code. Which files are responsible for the path finding that we are trying to debug? So it's time to get a little deeper. However, the answer to this question might have me just bring those files over to ChatGPT 03 and then see if 03 can have a different perspective on this. Okay. Chain of responsibility. So we have the director, town context. This class is the high-level controller, and its update method, it decides when an NPC needs a new path, when it's evening, and determines what high-level goal is to go to your assigned bed, and then calls set new target to initiate the process, which is an NPC.cs. Okay, so the agent. The class represents the NPC itself. Makes the direct call to the path finding function, find path, and then stores the resulting list of coordinates in its current path property, handling logic. Okay. Then the navigator. The core of the pathfinding logic contains an A-star algorithm that calculates step-by-step routine from start tile to target tile. It knows nothing about beds or work. It only knows about walkable and non-walkable tiles. Interesting. And then town layout tile. Okay, so I'm kind of curious. Let me look at pathfinding for 1 second before I continue. So does it see the walkable and non-walkable tiles in the code? I don't think so. Because it's getting that status from somewhere else. So probably town tile. These map and legend. These files define the grid of the pathfinding service navigates. Town layout holds the 2D array of town tile objects and is walkable property within the town tile class is the single most important piece of information the pathfinder uses to determine if a tile is an obstacle. Okay. And then which file is doing the ultimate check if a path succeeded or not? Yeah, that looks good. I'm definitely going to throw these 4 files into ChatGPT. So let me get started with that. So we've got game state, town context. I'm going to pull ChatGPT over here for a second. So town context, entities, NPC, core, entities, NPC, and then core world, pathfinding, and then town layout. Okay. So, and town tiles. So town context is not. Oh yeah, I already had town context. Okay, good. Let me describe ChatGPT. I am having trouble with the pathfinding logic for this code. Sometimes the NPC NPC fails to have a path established, even though visually it looks like the NPC can get to its destination. Can you investigate why I may be having a failed path finding, even though there is a legitimate path available? So I'm suspecting that there is just some sort of bug in the logic where if just the right sort of sequence happens, you might just end up having a Boolean get flipped when it doesn't need to be flipped to like false. So hopefully ChatGPT can kind of look at this with a bit more critical eye of like, well, here's a situation where I could see like you just have these two lines that are flip-flopped, and it's causing like a false when there shouldn't be. Okay, yeah, so A star with Manhattan distance and forward direction movement. I think the issue may be with how is walkable is defined. It might not be correctly accounting for obstacles like beds or walls. It's also worth considering the NPC might need diagonal movement to avoid tight spots. Okay. I'll carefully inspect. Yeah, I don't think that's the case, but, okay, what did I get over here with Gemini? So I was asking, do the ultimate check the pathfinding succeeds? If not, is that NPCs? I've grouped them roughly from most likely to least likely in practice. Okay. Live NPCs are treated as hard walls. Every standing NPC is an impassable obstacle for the whole search, even if it's going to step aside next frame. One tile, doorway, or alley is visually free, but if any other villager is idling in that tile, quick fix, no. So let's say no NPCs are not in the way during my troubleshooting observations. We detect a failed search for this reason. Put the NPC in a waiting for path clear state. I mean, yeah. Okay, search gives up to 2,000 iterations on a 60 by 60 map. The worst case breadth first expansion already touches 3,600 nodes. Maybe that's 3,600 nodes. Yeah, 3,600 nodes. It's weird how it had the space. Add a few detours, and you blow past 2,000 easily. When that happens, the loop exits and returns null, even though a path still exists. What? Oh, raise the limit or scale it to map size. Get out of here. Okay. Okay, hold on. Which file's doing that? Well, you know what? Who cares? I'll find it. Oh, that. ChatGPT coming in for the save. If only your context window was bigger, I would use you more. Okay, let's just go nuts. Let's go 6,000. It'd be wonderful if that is the reason. It kind of makes sense. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, not very many NPCs, so this might not be the best example. Let me go to night mode. Okay, everyone found a path, but I don't like it that there's so few NPCs. But this is a good sign so far. Come on, don't be teasing me. Okay, we got a not found. At only 13, 15. That's like really close. Oh, but is this a... Please be a backdoor problem. Please be a backdoor problem. I think it was a backdoor problem. Yep. I need to make that backdoor. Alright, anybody not finding a path to bed? Everybody's finding a path to the bed. Oh, that was it? Was that it? Okay, we're still not finding a path into the... Oh, well, that's not entirely true. Okay, so I know this is probably a lot for you guys to be looking at, but NPC 2 didn't find a path, but then it found a path. Okay, I bet you NPC 2 will not find a path at least once. Okay, found a path. Okay, did not find a path, but then... Okay, good. Okay, alright. Alright, go to nighttime. Everybody found a bed, so it was just the iteration number. Okay, this is a big deal here. Very interesting. I'm gonna have to be careful about that if I decide to make this a huge open world. But you know what? I'm gonna consider this a tentative win. Let me just run this a couple more times. So interesting. Okay, so I think I see a large shop just up above. Right over here. I think there's a large shop. Oh, no, that was just a large residence. Okay, I do not see anybody not finding a path, and then going to bed, everybody's got a path. I think this is it. I actually think this is it. This is it. Then I'm going to call this stream a win, and I have my note to make a back door, and I think I'll do that on the next stream. Yeah, okay, nobody has failed to find a path, and everybody found a path. So that's why sometimes I was able to unstick people, and sometimes people were getting stuck, because they weren't able to... The pathfinding is only being given so much range, so much reach. Oh, that is really interesting. I will try to reduce this down. So in pathfinding.cs, I'll write this pathfinding.cs has a star reach setting. Okay. I am really fascinated by that. I learned something very, very important today about the A-star algorithm. Very cool. I have to study the algorithm a little bit more. Make sure that I know it better. Hey, wait a second. Why are you guys Okay, that'll be the next one. Why are some NPCs random wandering at night? Supposed to be going to bed. Do you not have a bed? Let me go. Scroll up. Do I have more people than beds? Oh, wait, go back. So I don't see any empty beds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. Oh, because I didn't have room for one of my residences. Okay, that's fine. That's just a town size limitation. Whatever, acceptable. I like it that it goes into random. I find that to be acceptable as well. I think I should try and detect when they cannot place a building and then refresh the town generation to prevent having homeless people. Does it even have that little message that someone, yeah, they will be homeless. Yeah, so there we go. Only gives a message for one homeless NPC, and I think I have 2. So that's not a proper calculation, I don't think. Yeah, because yeah, I got 2 homeless NPCs. Okay, I just think it's weird that it's only detecting one of the homeless NPCs and not putting a message for both. That might be a non-issue. I think if it would have made one more residence, then I wonder if you know what? It failed to make a residence, but I don't think it tried again. So I think we should like have it if residence fails, try again. Like maybe like 10 times. Because I don't think it's trying. I'll ask that in the code. I'll ask the AI about that in the code. Okay, I'm going to consider this a good win. I just wanted to like get this bug found, and I am very confident that I found it, and that makes me happy. So my name's Justin. It's AI for the masses. Appreciate your attention, and continue to follow me for this journey of making my indie game the story of someone. We're still in the very beginnings of it, and it's just going to keep getting bigger and more expansive. So I'll be continuing to stream my efforts. All right, I will see you guys in the next one.